Hello out there, this is Wakeangel2K1, and I remember a couple days ago I did a 3DS capture about this new Windblade figure and how it seemed to be a waste of Hasbro's retooling because it doesn't look significantly different from the original Windblade, and that it seems like a made peg warmer. Well, I actually ended up breaking down and getting one because I found it for sale for only $10 today. At that low price, I figured she's worth picking up if nothing else than to use as custom fodder. So now that I have them side by side, we can do a real comparison. First, a quick look at their swords. It's identical molding, of course. So first, let's have a look at their swords where my backdrop doesn't fall over again. And I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but the new Windblade sword is cast in a very slick, glossy black plastic, which at first glance looks identical to the old one. But if you get very, very close in there and it catches the light right, you can see that it has like there's like a flaky, speckly effect in the plastic. Like, to make it look shinier. So, aha! Now you're not falling on me again. So yeah, they cast in a very slightly different plastic to make it look, I'm guessing, more matte. But yeah, it's a minor difference, but I just thought I'd point out the different plastics. As for the paint schemes themselves, the new Windblade isn't necessarily more accurate to the color scheme from the cartoon. Like, in fact, like, with the yellow kneecaps and blue crown, it's actually an inversion of the blue kneecaps and yellow crown that she should have. And, you know, they didn't really, those yellow highlights on her chest plate and the blue midriff, they're not really any more accurate to the original, but, you know, like neither one of them is a perfect match for the actual cartoon color scheme, but you know, it's not like it's any worse. It's a good looking color scheme for reasons I'm going to get into in just a bit. I'm guessing because of the use of some nice all-spark blue in her midriff and crown, along with the battle mask, she's supposed to be like some kind of Energon powered up version of Windblade. You know, like when Sideswipe got that got the light blue color scheme, which is supposed to be him powered up by a Decepticon hunter. Although, you know, like I feel like if you're gonna repaint a character, make the repaint look really different, not just a very slight alteration. Because, like, as you recall, Drift has 3 color schemes so far. His original orange and black color scheme, an Arctic camo color scheme, which uses a lot more light blue, and even IDW accurate white and red color scheme, which I thought was pretty awesome. But here we have Windblade, who has appeared in the cartoon using both desert and Arctic camo, just not in either of those schemes, just in a slightly different color scheme that doesn't look like anything she did on the show. And that's just kind of weird. And that's why I feel like this isn't really going to be a major draw for a lot of people. Although, if you skipped out on this first version of her, I think the second version of her is actually quite a bit nicer. And let's get in there so I can talk about what I mean. First of all, her black plastic is really black. Like if you look at Windblade, you can see that there's a very distinct difference in the color between her hips and the rest of her thighs. Like this is more of a dark silver. Same thing up on her biceps and her propellers. While all the plastic on this new Windblade is a nice matching black. It's a very glossy black, and it all matches just fine. And that actually is a pretty decent faceplate. It looks really cool. I mean, I still wish that they had colored her hair properly, because that's supposed to be black, but whatever. It still looks pretty darn good. And they did a lot more to her that actually looks pretty nice. If you see on her legs, although there's a lot more black on them than there was before, if you look at the part that they actually did paint red, it's much brighter and a much closer match to the red they used to cast her plastic parts in. Compare that to the very pathetic attempt at red paint on the original one, where this comes out as a deep burgundy that comes nowhere near matching her red plastic. So, yeah, at the very least you can say that. The paint matching is much better, even if there isn't quite as much of it as there was before. Stop doing that! So, yeah, so that's Windblade in her robot mode, which it's really good. I like this scheme. It's no more accurate to the cartoon than the first one was, but it's very nice. Now let's get them into vehicle mode to see how those compare. In vehicle mode, this is a clear winner. The new color scheme is obviously better than the original one. Like, it may be... First of all, this is actually a little bit more accurate to how she looked in the comic book. Like, the increased use of black on the back of the wings, it's really nice. Plus, I love that vibrant blue cockpit window. It is so much better than the original one, which is all just undifferentiated red with a little bit of silver and a black cockpit window. Like, this one makes much better use of the limited paint budget that the modern toys get these days. And again, the paint matching on the tail is a lot better. This weird burgundy color just absolutely clashes and does not flow with the jet shape at all. But on this one, even though there's much less red, you get a very smooth transition here. And the hand, unless you actually look pretty close, actually just kind of seems to disappear into it because the color matches that well. So it's really good. Like, I always complain that this version of the mold that the hands just kind of chill out in the sides of the plane and don't even bother hiding, but at least here there's color camouflage for it. So, you know, improvement. There's no two ways about it. Your mileage may vary on her robot mode, but definitely 100% this new color scheme is an improvement in vehicle mode, and I will argue that. I will stick my neck out for that. I also love those new silver highlights they put in the wing. Again, it doesn't necessarily make her any more accurate to different source materials, but it just looks good. So yeah, this is a good looking Windblade figure. The thing is, I kind of like the unmasked version of Windblade better. Yeah, that's just my opinion. I mean, you might like the battle mask, and you're perfectly fine liking the battle mask. There's nothing inherently wrong with the battle mask. It's just that, I gotta say, I prefer Windblade without the battle mask on. I think that looks nicer. So, well, you know, I got two Windblades here. Let's try to do just a little tiny bit of customizing right here at the very end. And there we go. It wasn't exactly easy to paint in some of the tinier details, but now I have a Windblade with a proper colored face. All of her hair is black, not just the stuff on her forehead, which is, you know, that always bugged the crap out of me. I hated that they only painted her forehead and left the rest of it red. That was really weird looking to me. Then I got like her brow, her eyebrows, the yellow bits, you know, the blue highlights, you know, like all the details that make Windblade's face, they're there now. Like, you know, like it's a really tiny head, so it's kind of hard to get all those details in, but I have a much more accurate looking Windblade now, and I like that. So yeah, and of course I stuck the old maskless face on this new body because, hey, this new body looks better. So yeah, I stuck the new head on my old Windblade body. I'm gonna customize her eventually. Gonna make her into Maxima from the Combiner Wars special, because Maxima actually had a faceplate. And yeah, there we go. That's the quickie custom at the end of this review. So if you didn't get the original Windblade, then this one is actually an improvement, and I would recommend it. If you already have that old Windblade, though, there's very little difference between them. But if you find her on a really good sale, then she might be worth it to you. Other than that, you know, just get it at your discretion. This is Wakeangel 2001 signing off.